Hello, my name is Jaime J, owner of Slapshot Studio, and you're listening to the Get You Some radio show with my good friend Terry Lancaster. Yum, get you some.
Now, your weekly dose of inspiration, perspiration, and just the right amount of bull defecation. The Get You Some radio show with your host, the Vice President of Making Shit Happen, Terry Lancaster.
Hey everybody, how's your mom and them? Welcome to the Get You Some radio show. I'm your host, Terry Lancaster. Today, we've got a great show for you. We have my buddy, Jaime J on the show. Now, Jaime J is a website designer. He's a podcast host. He's an entrepreneur, and he used to jump out of airplanes for a living. And I can't tell you which one I'd rather, between jumping out of airplanes for a living and designing web pages for a living, that both kind of sound like torture to me. But that's why Jaime's around. So people like me have people like him to do the stuff that we don't want to do. Jaime's going to talk to us about why you need a website for your business and for yourself. Jaime's going to talk about what your website can do for you and what it can't. In fact, he's going to tell you that your website will never, ever sell a single thing for you. You have to do that all on your own. We're going to talk about the big step that most people leave out when they're building their website, and we're going to talk about what to include in your website, including the single most important thing that you have to include, that you must include if you ever want to see a single dime in return from your website. So before we get to that, we got to get to this, the big red button. Click it. Click that button. Click the big red button so you can subscribe to the Get You Some radio show every week. We're going to pick a lucky winner to walk home with fabulous gifts and prizes like the Get You Some radio show mega mug. And whatever you're drinking, just taste a little bit sweeter out of a Get You Some radio show mega mug. This week's subscriber of the week, Gary Simmons. Gary Simmons, be on the lookout for your Get You Some radio show mega mug and click it to win. Don't forget to click it. I'm still wearing my Predators jersey. Yay, go Preds. Been wearing that ever since I started the show. Didn't intend to start out like this, but the Preds are rocking and rolling. I'm still sporting my little scruffy, scraggly, sad little playoff beard, but I'm going to keep on doing it because the Preds keep on winning. This week we defeated the St. Louis Blues in round 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So that means we defeated the St. Louis Blues, and my buddy Jaime J, you're about to hear from, he's a big St. Louis Blues fan. So Jaime, I apologize. I'm sorry for you, but I'm super excited for the Preds. We're heading off to round 3, the Western Conference Finals. Going to find out in the next day or so exactly who we're going to be playing in round 3. But this week, the Predators are not the most important sports team in the Lancaster household. Now, we're not big sports fans around here anyway. We only get excited 2 times. We get excited every year. We get excited during the Stanley Cup playoffs, and we get excited during football season. In football season in the Lancaster household, on Fridays, we wear orange because right now I've got 2 daughters at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. But as of Friday of this week, I'll only have 1 daughter at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville because my daughter, Mary Margaret, is graduating from the University of Tennessee on Friday. I am so excited for her. I am so proud of her, and I honestly can't believe this is going on. This means she's my baby girl. She's about to walk across the stage in a cap and gown with the big T on the top of it, and to me, she's still this little girl, 2 years old, pushing a stroller around. She pushed it around like a bag lady for a whole year. She had this stroller. She was never apart from it. She kept all her belongings in the front of it, and that's how she wandered around the house, and that's how she'll always be to me. So, I mean, if any parent, you can understand this. It's an emotional time for me. So if I get a little misty-eyed, you'll have to forgive me. But I got another daughter who's about to graduate from high school. She's going to be starting at the University of Tennessee coming up this fall. But when Mary Margaret and her twin sister, Jordan, when they were getting ready to graduate from high school before they started college, I wrote a blog post. And this was way back at the beginning of what I call my transformation. I was just kind of feeling my way out through things, and I'd started writing, and I wrote a blog post, which ostensibly was a letter to my two 18-year-old daughters. And the blog post was entitled, "The Only Way to Do It is to Do It." Now, the thing about most writers, I think most writers, they're either writing about themselves or they're writing to themselves. A little pep talk, a little momentum. Now, I wrote this blog post to my daughters, kind of summing up everything Terry had learned in my 50 years on earth, that I wanted to give them advice as they headed out into the big wide world. And I summed up the advice: the only way to do it is to do it. And I wrote in the blog, if you want to dance, dance. If you want to sing, go sing. And if you want to be a rodeo clown, go buy yourself a big red nose and go shiny pants and go out and make some bulls look at you. The only way to do it is to do it. You got to grab life by the short hairs and make it your bitch. The opportunity is not going to come knocking on your door. There's no such thing as a job fairy. There's no such thing as an opportunity fairy. Whatever's going to happen, you have to get out there and make it happen. So I wrote this to them, but I think I was writing it to me. That was 4 years ago. So let me tell you what's happened to me in the last 4 years while my daughters have been in college. First of all, I lost 60 pounds. I lost 60 pounds and I've kept it off for 4 years. Now, I'm still not a model of health. I'm still a chunky boy, but I've lost 60 pounds. I've kept it off, and that's a pretty massive accomplishment. I'm pretty proud of that. I haven't had a drink in 4 years. I haven't had a sip of alcohol the entire time my daughter has been in college, which is 180 degrees opposite, 180 degrees opposite of my college experience, because I can't think of very many moments during my college career that I didn't have a sip of alcohol. I drank for 35 years, and 4 years ago, I cut it off cold turkey. Haven't had a drop. I've been exercising. Today will be my 891st day in a row that I've ran at least 1 mile. And if you'd asked me even 2 or 3 years ago if I would run, if I exercised, I would ask, well, that depends on who's chasing me. I couldn't run to the mailbox, literally. Couldn't run to the mailbox without stopping to catch my breath. But I've been exercising every day. I wrote a book that became a #1 bestseller, Better Self-Help for the Rest of Us. I've started speaking. I've spoken at the National Automobile Dealers Association. I've spoken at a TEDx conference. I've spoken at the National Association of Broadcasters. I've spoken at many different places. I've written in Forbes magazine, been featured in automotive news, and I've had lots of amazing things happen to me because I got up and I put one foot in front of the other, and I decided at 50 years old that I had more to give to the universe. And I put myself out there, and I made stuff happen. The only way to do it is to do it. And none of this stuff turned out perfectly. I gave a speech. The first time I had to give a speech, I went to Dallas, Texas, and just bombed. Just a horrible speech. And you people have heard me talk about that. I spoke about it here on the show just a couple of weeks ago. I gave a horrible speech. I've been turned down for not job opportunities, but for speaking opportunities and for consulting opportunities. I've been turned down and rejected by magazines who have submitted publications to. The book is a #1 bestseller, but that's kind of a little misleading. It means my mom and I bought our copies on the same day. Still, haven't made a dime from the book that I wrote. #1 bestseller, and I think I got a $100 check a couple of weeks ago from that. So it's not a big money-making thing, but it's a thing. And I made it happen. And you can make stuff happen in your life. And it doesn't matter whether you're graduating from high school and starting college. It doesn't matter if you're muddling your way through college. It doesn't matter if you're graduating from college and starting your new life as a grown-ass person. And it doesn't matter if you're 50 years old, muddling through whatever you're muddling through right now. Every day above ground is a good day. And every day is a chance to turn it all around. But you have to get up, and you have to put one foot in front of the other. You have to quit worrying about things being perfect, because things are never going to be perfect. Perfection does not exist in nature. It's a fallacy. It's an illusion. It's something created by by marketers to sell more hair care products. There's no such thing as perfect. But you have the right, the responsibility, and the resources to make your life better, starting right here, right now, no matter where you are. no matter who you are. The only way to do it is to do it. And we're going to do it with Jaime J. We'll be back to talk to Jaime right after this. Thanks.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. And first impressions these days happen mostly on Google or social media. If you're invisible online, well, that's not much of an impression. But with our free 5-day personal branding bootcamp, you can transform your online image, create a bigger referral network, and stop being invisible in just 1 week. To get started, simply text Terry to 444-999.
Get you some radio.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Get You Some Radio Studio. I'm Terry Lancaster. Today's guest, my buddy, Jaime J. Now, I met Jaime about a year ago. I was on his podcast, and Jaime and I clicked. I mean, we're like long-lost brothers. First of all, we're real big hockey fans, and you've heard me talk about the last couple of weeks about my little scruffy playoff beard over here. Jaime J's got the Mac Daddy of all playoff beards. He's been working on his forever. He's a podcaster. He's my web development guy. He used to jump out of airplanes for a living. He's got an amazing story, and he's a great guy. I love talking to him. I love working with him. I want you to introduce you to him, my buddy, Jaime J. Jaime, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing awesome, Terry. Thank you so much. Man, this is exciting, man.
I am. I'm kind of pumped up. I'm glad to have you on here, and you've helped me so much. The stuff that you've done for my website and for the things that I do, and you've got it going on. I love your services, and I refer you to everyone that I can. People who go through my 5-day boot camp for personal branding. And when they get my personal branding toolbox, one of the first names on there is Jaime J. When you're going to build a website, you need to call Jaime J. So I'm sending everybody your way. I want everybody to know you. But I mean, in another life, well, before I even get to the other life, I want to tell you this. We talked about, I talked about you being a hockey fan. Your podcast, I think the thing that really grabbed me from the beginning is the name of your podcast. Your love of hockey bled through, and you named the podcast, Stop Riding the Pine. And
yes.
That's the entire concept of what we're doing here on the Get You Some Radio Show is get off the bench and get in the game. Whatever the game is, start playing. Life is not a spectator sport. So how'd you get here, Jaime? Tell us the story of how you went from jumping out of airplanes to being a web development guy.
Wow. Well, jumping out of airplanes, that takes me back 20 plus years. That's dating me there. But 29 successful jumps in the 82nd Airborne. So that was pretty exciting. Crazy stuff. I could tell you some funny stories about that. But it was an exciting time. I got out of the military in 1994. Didn't really have a direction, didn't know what to do. So I started working as a waiter at a restaurant called Bennigan's at the time in Southern California. And I actually really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with that, getting into a lot working with the staff and, being young, 24, I had a good time. And then I thought there's got to be something better than this. I got a little tired of it. You don't make great money as a waiter. Yeah. And I had a friend that worked in corporate America, and he invited me to go on an interview, and it kind of had to end since he was doing pretty good there and got hired. So started my 12-year career in corporate America. And you and I both, being entrepreneurs, having our own shows, we love the freedom of being able to do what we want. Well, corporate America is not like that. Yeah. And so my 12 years ended. Went in to do a little bit of radio and advertising sales for radio, and I just didn't like that either. And one would think you could be really creative in radio.
Right.
Exactly the opposite. There's so much red tape. There's and you know this. I mean,
Absolutely.
There's so many things you have to have. They want to be so careful. All this legal stuff, and man, it's just crazy. So, got out of that, started getting into, and since the technology that I worked in, or the corporate America that I was involved with, was technology related,
right.
IT infrastructure, things like that. So I always had a knack and a passion for technology.
Right.
So I went ahead and started building websites. Probably 10 years ago, around abouts, and didn't really go into it too much. We started an ad agency for real estate, and that's where I made my first big mistake. We were making good money. 2008 hit, and bam, lost everything. I didn't save. I was out being immature, young 30-something, and found myself in a bit of a predicament, a bit of a pickle. And then I kept getting people asking me to build websites for them. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own company. And then Slapshot Studio was born a couple of years later, and we haven't looked back since. We're just having a blast building websites.
Yeah, so you started out in real estate. I actually didn't realize that you'd done a lot of in the real estate business. Were you building websites for them?
Yeah, actually, it was a real estate-based ad agency. We built websites. We did brand profiling. We helped out teams with, group teams, the real estate teams, build their brands. We would do business cards, and their collateral and all that kind of stuff. And then we even did a magazine. We published a magazine that was distributed monthly, 12,000 issues a month. Yeah. And, real estate agents, mortgage guys, girls would advertise in there. And we did good. And then 2008 hit, and we lost 72 customers in about 3 months. Yeah,
the world changed overnight in 2008.
Oh my gosh!
So you build websites now. Now a lot of the audience here for the Get You Some radio show, we advertise. We speak to salespeople and entrepreneurs. I say it's for people who eat what they kill. And this, people who are out on their own, and sometimes they're selling for other people, and sometimes they're selling for themselves. But they're always selling, and if they don't sell, they don't eat. And I'm a big proponent of having your own web page, having your own presence on the web. So talk a little about that, about how a web page just for a person or for a small business, as opposed to, if you're selling for, if you're selling for a car dealership, of course, the car dealership's going to have the big, massive web page with everything on there. But what can a web page do for a small business and an individual person? What's the role that it plays?
I'm so glad you asked this question. This is huge. Now, a website is not going to be your end-all be-all for sales. You have to be that person. You've got to be the one going out there, creating relationships, listening to the challenges of potential customers and prospects, and then solving those issues for them and just communicating well. That's your number one way to grow your business. However, that being said, the online community or the internet-based communities right now is a way that you can easily reach out. We've never had that before in the past. And now that we have an internet to where we can open up those communication channels with people that you would have never come across on a day-to-day basis, just it's undeniable. You have to have that web-based business. Now, you asked two things. You asked about an individual or a small business. Every single brick and mortar, every single company out there, they need to have a web presence. They just do, because people right now are going online and they're searching. They're searching for the products and services that they want to buy, and you should be popping up there, especially at a local level. Mm-hmm. What's more important, even on the individual side, why should someone have maybe a vanity URL? That's what we call them, is yourname.com or something to that effect. It's because you're always going to be that person. And no matter what you're doing, you can always change your messaging according to whatever it is that you're doing. So if you're in a sales environment, you can still go to, hey, visit me at jamiej.com or visit me at, terrylancaster.com. And then say if you change careers or you want to go off on your own as an entrepreneur selling widgets, hey, go to jamiej.com. It doesn't matter. You can change the message, but the destination remains the same.
Oh, absolutely. I went out. I started with terrylancaster.com, and I started using that, and I added some more. I think I own terrylancaster.something or another for 14 different things right now. I've got terrylancaster.com, and the podcast is terrylancaster.tv, and I've got the .net and the .org and the .info. So I own Terry Lancaster. I am Terry Lancaster. I'm going to be Terry Lancaster forever. And if you're looking for Terry Lancaster, you're going to find me. Matter of fact, on my business card now, I don't even put my phone number. I just say, Google me because it's going to send you to that. Now, and terrylancaster.com, which you helped me work on, is a WordPress website. You use mostly WordPress for everything?
100% WordPress, actually.
Yeah.
We're big proponents of it. We love the platform. There's a couple of reasons. It's easy to work on for us. It's also easy to hand over to clients and say, okay, this is how you add an image, this is how you add a page, this is how you add a blog post. And it's very easy for users or for end users to make adjustments and edits to their site. They don't have to know any coding. It's no HTML, no PHP. If you want some creative custom style things, well, we're happy to help you. We have developers on staff that know all of that crazy stuff. I don't. But yeah, it's very, I think it's very easy to learn how to use the platform. I won't say it's very easy to use, but it's very easy to learn how to use it. So that learning curve is really reduced using something like a WordPress versus all the other solutions that are out there.
The reason I ended up choosing WordPress for mine, I had a couple of other things. I actually, when I first put up terrylancaster.com, it was just a blogger site. I had a blogger site at terrylancaster.com, but I couldn't end up putting a lot of the stuff, and I don't know the technical term of it, I couldn't put server-side stuff on there. I couldn't put stuff on the back end like my Google Analytics and like my Google Remarketing, like my Facebook Pixels. A lot of the stuff that I'm using now to build my community, I needed to have a fully functioning website so that I could get into the meat and potatoes of the website so that I could start building that those profiles.
Yeah, what's nice about it too is WordPress has what they call open source platform, meaning that tons of different developers out there can develop a piece of software called a plugin that you can just install right on your service to help provide a better user experience for your customers or help solve with certain issues. So if you wanted to have a social media button so that people could share an article that they read, it's as simple as about a 10-second installation for a plugin. It's really, really easy to create your site and customize it in such a way that, you know, it provides a really good user experience for the end user so they can easily navigate your site without you having to without having to know the, you know, the dots and the exclamation points and all the crazy stuff that's programming.
Oh, that's the stuff I hate about it, because when I was trying to do a lot of the stuff myself, it's, you know, it's everything is I'm a big idea guy. I'm the outside, you know, I'm the shake hands and kiss babies guy. And then when you're trying to write code, you've got to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and you can't use a capital L instead of a lowercase L, and you got to have one slash and not two. And you look at these until your eyes are blinded. That's why I'm glad I got someone that helped me out with it. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, so, that was fun.
Yeah. So guys salespeople who are, say you sell cars for a living, say you sell real estate for a living, say you're an insurance agent and you decide you're going to build your vanity URL. So what are some of the things that they need to think about incorporating in that web page? What are some of the elements they need to include, some things they need to be thinking about when they're building it?
Great question. You need to kind of think of, first and foremost, before you even start building out the website, I would highly recommend kind of doing a brand profile. And what that consists of is, what's your story? Who are you guys talking to? What's your demographic? What are the psychographics? Meaning, not only, okay, I'm targeting, 35 to 55-year-old males that are college graduates, but the psychographics. What do they read? What interests do they have? Are they pet owners? Really dive into it that way, and then talk about what your vision is. What do you see happening when someone comes to experience your website? Some of that kind of stuff, and really dive deep into there. Understand what your core values are. Write all of this stuff down. And this may seem like it's kind of something that you really don't need. You just want to put your site up, put a homepage in this, but you'll be amazed by going through an exercise like that, how much more information you'll think of while making that journey, so that when it comes time to actually do the development of your website, you really have a good, strong message that's going to be conveyed during that process, during that build out. The other thing that I would say that's really important that a lot of people miss out on, especially if it's a vanity URL, but even a small business, is the branding aspect of it. You want to make sure that instead of sending people to www.twitter.com/, Terry Lancaster, you want to send them to terrylancaster.com/Twitter, terrylancaster.com/Facebook. Why brand another website when you have your very own asset there that's worthwhile in branding? There's two things accomplished by that. You get brand messaging out of that and brand awareness. The second thing is, it's way easier to know terrylancaster.com/Facebook than it is to go to www.facebook.com/13576533732. You know?
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that I would highly recommend in the very beginning, and then get a good contact form service, integrate that with an autoresponder to start building your list right away, because your list is gold. That's going to follow you wherever you go online.
Hey, I tell you another thing. Another reason I encourage people to drive traffic to their website instead of to another page or another form or anything else is, like I was talking about earlier, the Facebook pixels and the Google retargeting. If you drive them to your page, I mean, with the number is about 2% of people who visit any website are going to fill out the contact form so that you can capture their email address, or they're going to reach up and raise their hand and say, I'm interested in buying whatever it is that you sell. You know, the numbers are 1 or 2% at best. But if you drive them to your webpage and you have the Facebook pixels and you have the Google retargeting cookie built on there, they get added to your marketing list whether they raise their hand or not. And that's an instant, automatic, easy peasy way to start building this choir that you can preach to without them even having to do a thing. So that's why I try to drive as much traffic to my page as possible.
Exactly. Yeah. That does get into a little bit of a different animal there when you start talking about retargeting, whether it's Facebook advertising retargeting or the Google retargeting messages. There is a little bit of a education that needs to be learned or gone through there. But it is so powerful. And once you get it working, once you get that machine working, holy cow, it is, like you said, it's awesome. And you and I have a mutual friend in Mr. Aaron Walker, and he says a lot of times, you know, what may be ordinary to you is extraordinary to someone else. And so when you're trying to capture emails, something that you may just take for granted can be gold to someone else. So writing a white paper or an article or an infographic, something like that you're really knowledgeable about, that you really don't think twice about, someone else may be really wanting to know that information. So by creating a white paper or something like that as a giveaway to get that email information is really, really critical, especially when you match it up with your brand and what the website's all about. Something to help people out. If you can really come up with something, I always say, if you give away your best secret, people are going to want to learn more.
Right. Yeah. Don't be afraid to give away too much, because they're always going to come back. Do you have a preferred platform for email collection, or for an email provider that you use that integrates well with WordPress that is something easy people can use?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of them out there. We use GetResponse, but Aweber is awesome. Constant Contact, ClickFunnels. There's a ton of different resources out there that you can use. Yeah. And I think or MailChimp is another one. And I think as long as you get something like that, it's really important. These are called autoresponder services. And as long as you get something like that and integrate that into your website, you're going to really, really see a big improvement, because that list is your gold. You want to target. You want to continue targeting that list and building that list and nurturing that list. And one of the biggest challenges I see is someone will set all this up and then they'll never email the list. Right. And I think here's probably the number one tip I can give anybody is staying consistent. And having nice quality. So it's not, hitting them all the time. If you do it once a month, fine. But do it once a month on the same day at the same time once a month. If you do it once a week, fine. Do it once a week, same day, same time, every week. And then you'll find that you'll grow your list. The organic reach will start growing. And people that are subscribing to this, that love that information that you're providing, they're going to become huge raving fans. And pretty soon they're going to expect that stuff to come out. If you do it once 1 month and then twice 1 month and then maybe skip a month and come out, well, you're not going to be able to follow me like that. People like that anticipation. That's why these box services, the clothing box services or the Dollar Shave Club, that's why they're so good. Once a month, bam, you get that package once a month, same time.
I was talking to another buddy of mine, and he said that, so many people, they put together a mailing list and then they never reach out to anyone until business slows down. All of a sudden they look around and business is a little slow this month. So they throw together a couple of quick emails, and it's like, so everyone gets their emails. Like, oh, well, Bob must be broke again because I'm finally getting an email.
Yeah, that whole peaks and valley things, right? It'd be so much better if it just went smooth.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the radio show, with the Get You Some radio show. I'm starting that so I can have a regular piece of content, so I can provide some value to the people who are on my list. And so once a week they get the show, and it's my weekly box of goodies that I'm sending people every week, so that when I do need to reach out for something, it's not a surprise when they send an email for me. But you're a podcaster as well. Talk about your show.
Oh man, I love it here. Stop Right in the Pine. I love it. Stop Right in the Pine. As we talked about, both big, huge hockey fans, and oh man, our Blues. Your Preds are coming up. It's going to be so exciting. Oh boy, I'm praying we win one.
Well, I'm praying we win 4. So
yeah, there we go. I love it. Stop Right in the Pine is a sports analogy for get off the bench, and so I interview thought leaders and authors and successful entrepreneurs, and I just talk to them kind of like what we're chatting about, and I have them tell a little bit about their stories, their challenges, how they overcame it. We have the breakaway moment, their kind of aha moment, what led them to where they are. Because I really want our audience, I call them our opiners, because they're able to form their own opinions and act on that. And hopefully our guests can influence their opinion in one way or the other. And so it's a really, I just love being able to share tips and strategies for people that need to learn. And maybe they don't even realize that they need to learn, but they may pick up something that will really help them out in their business, either instantly or down the road. So that's basically what we do. And I have to give one plug real fast for a series that we're doing. I'm interviewing former NHL players.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so much fun because I get to chat with them about my passion, and they all know I love hockey. I go gaga for hockey. I don't know what it is, but it's really cool because you get to hear about, their youth, their playing days in the NHL, and how they transition from the NHL to be successful after their playing days. And then what I'm going to do, and this is really cool that your audience may like, and you're number one at this. I mean, you're awesome at this, is repurposing that audio content. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be transcribing these interviews that I do with these former NHLers into a book. And then I want to start selling the book. And 100% of the net proceeds are going to be donated to charities like the St. Louis Blues Alumni Association and some other charities. So it's just a really neat way for me to enjoy what I'm doing and help give back a little bit.
That's fantastic. And I had a guy on the show last week, Tony D'Urso, and he interviews Hollywood celebrity. He's out in California, so he interviews a lot of actors and big time movie stars and that sort of thing. And I'm here in Nashville. And one of the things that he and I talked about is that all of these people, these movie stars and NHL stars and professional athletes and country music singers, and we put them up on a pedestal, and we think that there's something weird and unique and super special about them. And what I find, the more I talk to them, the more I find is they're just regular people, just like us. They put on our legs one at a time. I play hockey with Dirks Bentley, so I know for a fact Dirks Bentley is, he's just a regular guy. The only thing I find about these people is more often than not, the difference is they work harder. They get up every day and they put the work in, and that's how they got where they are. It wasn't luck. It wasn't super genetics. It's mostly just hard work. Yeah.
Well, you're a definite advocate of hard work and someone I look up to. How many days in a row is it now?
Oh, today, my running. He's talking about my run streak. I run at least 1 mile every day. And today, when I get through with this, I'll go for run number 878. I'm pushing up on 1,000 days.
Golly, that's so cool, man. Congratulations. Yeah. That is so awesome.
It is. It really is. Thank you so much. And it's kind of changed my life, this little run streak. I never thought that I was the fat kid at football practice at the back of the pack. I never thought I would be, known, or that would be one of the things that was part of the Terry Lancaster brand, is that I run every day. I used to say, if somebody's running, you better look behind me and see who's chasing me, it's changed my whole concept of what I can accomplish and who I can be. So I'm an advocate of putting in the work. That is for sure.
That's awesome. Congratulations, man.
Wow. All right, Jamie, talking about putting in the work, salespeople and entrepreneurs, we need one thing. What's the one job that they can start doing? What's one action step that they can start working on today to improve their business? And hopefully it's an action step that they can do today and tomorrow and the next day and the day after that, and start building a better business and building a better life.
Great question. There's several different mini action steps you can take, but the first thing I would recommend, and this could be something that you can do every day, at the end of every day. At the end of every day, take 15 minutes. That's it. Review your day, review your appointments, make sure that you have everything kind of set to go, and then that's about 7.5 minutes, and use the second half of that 15 minutes, the next 7.5 minutes, reviewing what you have to do in the morning for tomorrow. Not the whole day, just in the morning. Right. If you get overwhelmed, if you go through the whole day and you'll find yourself, you'll get squirrel, you'll start going off here in that direction. 15 minutes at the end of every day. Take 15 minutes to review what happened that day, your challenges, your successes, and then prepare for the morning, get all set, make sure all of your stuff is ready to rock and roll, all of your emails are planned, everything is good to go, and I think that'll show a drastic improvement.
Well, I tell you what, I go over my day every night as well, and the thing that I concentrate on is I concentrate at the end of the day on my successes. When I go to bed at night, I want to think about the things that went well that day, the things I accomplished, the things that were successful, and the things that I'm grateful for. So that's what I want to go to bed sleeping about, is what went right.
Good deal. Yeah. And a lot of times out of challenges, you can find something that's right out of this challenge. Yeah. It's a learning experience every single time.
That's right. So Jamie, how does everyone get in touch with you if they need to?
Well, you can go to slapshotstudio.com, and thank you again. That's awesome. You can also go to podcastpilot.com if you want to learn more about what we're doing there on the podcast, are helping people with their podcasts. StopWritingThePine.com is our podcast show. And of course, we help out with growing entrepreneurs and small businesses, place virtual assistants, and you can visit us there at bottleneck.online.
Man, you are a one-stop shop. You got it all going on. Jamie, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you for the encouragement over the year. You're one of the guys that kind of got me started on this. I started doing these podcasts last year, and I was on 30 or 40 shows I think last year, and I thought, man, this is fun. I like talking to all these people and everything, but I'm telling the same stories over and over again. I need to start doing something where I can hear some of their stories. So thank you for letting me tell my story, and thank you for coming on and telling yours.
Thank you so much. Seriously, you are an inspiration, and just, yes, you're the man.
Thanks, Jamie. Go Preds.
Oh, go Blues.
The Get You Some Radio Show. Yum, yum, get you some. Get you some.
My man, Jamie J, how about that beard? That is the playoff beard of all playoff beards. Jamie, thank you for being on the Get You Some Radio Show. And I got a special treat for you, listeners and viewers and party people in the house. Jamie has done a special 45-minute video for me. It's 45 minutes long, and it's called How to Create Your Own WordPress Website in Under an Hour. And Jamie did it in just about 45 minutes. It's going to take you through step by step how to design your website, how to create a website, how to upload your website, how to get the servers, how to get the hosting, how to do everything. And it's yours for free. It's part of a 5-day boot camp. And if you want to subscribe to the 5-day personal branding boot camp, all you do is you text the word Terry, Terry, text that to 444-999. Text Terry to 444-999. You're going to get enrolled in the 5-day personal branding boot camp. And every day for the next 5 days, you're going to get one email from me that gives you one action step that you can start taking that day to increase your online image, to boost your online image, to boost your presence, to polish your image, and start creating an army of buyers who know, like, and trust you. And as part of that, you're going to get a bonus video from Jamie J, how to create your own WordPress website in less than an hour. Text Terry to 444-999. Click that subscribe button so you can be subscriber of the next week. Get your own Get You Some radio show mega mug, and then tune in next week. We'll be on the air with Doug Sandler. Doug Sandler is the best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, and Doug is so nice. So nice. You're not going to want to miss this. I'll see you next week.
Get You Some Radio. You've been listening to the Get You Some Radio Show. Subscribe today at terrylancaster.tv to hear more episodes, win valuable cash and prizes, and get free training to help you create an army of buyers who know, like, and trust you before they've ever even met you. It's a big, wide world, boys and girls. Get out there and get you some.